This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Blink. Why wait for Black Friday? Blink Friday starts now with up to 65% off Blink Smart Security. Check on your pets all season long with new Blink Mini 2K Plus cameras. See your gifts arrive in head-to-toe view with Blink Video Doorbell. From pet parents to jet setters to busy families, Blink Friday deals have your holidays covered. Shop now at amazon.com/blink.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, boy, oh boy, Democrats trying to find anything they can create on President Trump. Hakeem Jeffries just a little bit ago saying Trump chickened out on the Epstein scandal. I think the Democrats are the ones who are going to have egg on their face when that vote happens tomorrow and when ultimately the documents come out. We're going to continue talking about that and obviously Zohran Mamdani and so much more. Robert, I'll continue with your calls, your call there from Brooklyn in just a moment. But first, here is Cory Booker and Ro Khanna. You got to hear this because these two guys are out there and they are saying the Democrat Party, we need new leadership. They're trying to find anything. Remember, the shutdown didn't work. They ended up caving, realizing how bad they were destroying the U.S. economy. And now the Democrats are trying to find anything they can. And they're trying to blame Schumer and anyone else that they can find. Here's Cory Booker and Ro Khanna.
Chuck Schumer's generation, Nancy Pelosi's generation, John Lewis's generation, they have so much to be proud of. It is time, though, for new leadership. The other generations, X, millennials, Z, it's time for us to step up. The stage is waiting for us to lead.
We have dynamic, young, new leaders.
Who are some of the top
Chris
names?
Murphy is a top leader. Cory Booker is a dynamic leader. Brian Schatz is a dynamic leader. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, someone whose ideology I appreciate. There are a lot of great talent. And really, is Chuck Schumer, when you think about it, just from a common sense test, do you think Democrats around the country think that Chuck Schumer should be the face of the future of the Democratic Party? Of course not. We need to be more independent and truth-telling in this country and bold and not rest on niceties.
Not rest on niceties? Is there anybody thinks that the Democratic Party are known for niceties now? I somehow don't really think niceties is the word. And Michelle Obama, you got to hear this one. Of course, the former First Lady of the United States. Well, she came out and listened to this interview. This is a doozy. She's saying essentially that America is sexist because they didn't pick Kamala Harris. Listen to Michelle Obama.
So thank you all for being there for us.
You stepped into a role that carried a preconceived idea of femininity and wifedom that was founded on the landmines of racism and misogyny. What the First Lady wears is one of the main ways, which you've already said, that a First Lady is talked about. It comes with so much historical expectation. How do you feel about the fact that the First Lady is an archetype for wifedom and femininity?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Don't agree with that. It's it is a completely throwback on. It's a definition that has no current status in how women actually show up in the world today.
Do you think that impacts the room that we've made for a woman to be president?
Well, as we saw in this past election, sadly, we ain't ready. That's why I'm like, don't even look at me about running, because you all are lying. You're not ready for a woman. You are not. So don't waste my time You know, we got a lot of growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it. What was the question?
I just said, we don't need to ask it again. You answered it. Femininity, wifedom.
Yeah. I mean, I think we still have growing to do in that regard. And, you know, we can see how progress can be made and things can be snatched back when it comes to us owning our power as women.
That's a classic line. In other words, America is too sexist. You're not ready to have a female president. Scolding the audience and saying, you had your chance. You clearly don't want it. Because what? Kamala was such a great candidate. Maybe we just didn't want that female president. I'm all for a female president, guys. Believe me, I'd love to see a female president. I think it'd be terrific. But I want to see a qualified female president because the position is not a DEI hire. The position is for qualified great women. If someone had told me, you know, even now that Condoleezza Rice wants to run, I'd say, wow, boy, is she qualified. You know, Hillary Clinton was qualified, obviously had a lot of flaws, and she did not get picked. But she was certainly qualified. So you look at different people out there. Was Kamala Harris qualified? Was she ready to be president based on her skills? She couldn't even communicate. She was the worst communicator. She was vacuous. That's different. I don't like a vacuous guy. I don't like a vacuous woman, especially as president of the United States, probably the most important position in the world. It's not a, feel-good position. You want someone who's tough, who is energetic, who's relentless, who's fighting for America at every twist and turn and fighting for our borders and our safety. What a far cry Joe Biden was from President Trump, who is doing exactly what he should be doing. So here is Kamala Harris, just to give you a little preview. Remember how she was? Let's not forget. Here you got, Michelle Obama scolding people, and yet Kamala Harris, she couldn't even get a sentence out. Remember this?
Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, she came over for breakfast. She asked me about voting, and she knew what was going on here. And this is not a subject that was unique to my conversation with her, by the way, in terms of world leaders. Because people around the world watch what we do as America because we have held ourselves out to be a model of the efficacy of the ability of a democracy to coexist with an economic strength and power. We have been a role model saying you can see this and aspire to this and reject autocracies. And autocratic leadership. And right now, we're about to take ourselves off the map as a role model if we let people destroy one of the most important pillars of a democracy, which is free and fair election.
So the question to her was about voter ID. It was like, should we have voter ID? I was like, you never got a straight answer. She couldn't answer that. And you want her to be president of the United States, and the former First Lady, Michelle Obama, is essentially saying, what, we're racist and sexist because we didn't pick Kamala Harris? That's ridiculous. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Let's go back to Robert in Brooklyn on line 4. Go ahead, Robert, your thoughts.
Well, right. So the last time, you had a major New York State election that went Republican was 2002 when Pataki won.
Yep.
That's almost like 23 years ago. I mean, the Senate seat, you have Gillibrand, and before that Hillary Clinton, before that Moynihan. Schumer beat D'Amato. That was in 1999. So it's just very unrealistic. And the even reason why Lee Zeldin made it as close as he did against Hochul, it was because it was a midterm election. There was a lot of people, including me, were unhappy with Biden. But I mean, I myself.
Wait, hold on a second, Robert. I'm not sure about that. Yes, you're right that often in the midterms, it's the opposite party does better. That often happens. We saw that just recently, even with the governor's races. You can make the case. But I think in that case, also, crime was really bad. And people were deeply concerned about crime. And Hochul seemed completely out of touch about crime. And she's not a super strong governor. She's not a super strong debater. And I think Zeldin, had he had more time and maybe, he was just sort of getting steam. Obviously, everything's woulda, coulda, shoulda. But he had maybe another month, I think he would have overtaken her. Because if you've seen the polls, he was definitely right there. So I think she seemed out of touch completely when it came to crime and a lot of other issues. And that was very apparent, especially in that debate. And I go back to that moment where Zeldin was debating her and she said, why do you keep bringing up crime? Like, what is this crime thing? What is this all about? Whenever, it seemed completely out of touch and disconnected. And I think it epitomized the race on a lot of different levels. So I think there's much more to it than that. And in this case, hang on. Do you actually think, Kathy Hochul has been flipping and flopping all over the place. She said she was going to hold the line on taxes. A lot of her beliefs are such in stark contrast to Mamdani, and yet she caved and was one of the first people to end up endorsing him, after AOC and others, but still pretty soon on. So she did endorse him, and he still has not endorsed her. So I think she's going to be very beholden. I think your argument could be right, not just because it's a Democratic state in many ways, but I think because the Democratic Socialists have such a huge sort of get out the vote base, if you will, and campaign effort. And we saw that in the mayor's race. And that's why I'm concerned that she's going to be flipping and flopping, to appease Mamdani and his supporters, especially. And I think because it's such a big voting bloc, that's why I think maybe she's more formidable because of that. Without that, I think she'd be in big trouble. But go ahead.
Well, but look, I'll say this. If it was Elise Stefanik was running against Kathy Hochul for president, so I would support Stefanik for president. But for governor, I support Kathy Hochul for governor. It's a different position.
Now, why? I guess you like Zohran Mamdani, right? I guess because she is essentially going to be a rubber stamp for Zohran Mamdani, Robert. So I guess you like Zohran Mamdani.
Well, I think that Kathy Hochul is. Do you
like Zohran Mamdani? Yes or no?
Well, I'm extremely opposed to Mamdani. I hope
then I find it baffling that you'd support somebody who's endorsed Zohran Mamdani.
Well, look, to be blunt about it, you could argue that you did more to get Mamdani elected than Kathy Hochul did.
That's a far cry. I'm not sure where you're coming from on that one, but you got to stop drinking at night. But go ahead.
Well, one second. When Curtis Lewa, his presence in the election could probably stop Cuomo from winning. And Robert, I repeatedly said the race against Cuomo against Mamdani needed to consolidate. I was probably one of the first ones. I don't necessarily believe in saying, hey, somebody drop out, but I was very, very clear that they needed to consolidate. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that they needed to consolidate. And clearly, Cuomo was the leading person. There is no doubt in my mind. And so I was crystal clear from day one that they needed to consolidate. And obviously, it should have been Curtis supporting Cuomo for the good of the city. 100%. I was 100% clear on that, and you know that. And sadly, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And we are where we are, but it should have been a one-on-one. And, I don't like to tell anybody to drop out or not drop out. And also, I also was hoping, quite frankly, I was one of the later ones to tell Curtis, publicly, that he should drop out. And that is because
I was still hoping in the debates maybe something dramatic would happen where things could turn around. I thought maybe he could say something or do something that would change the dimensions in the race and change the trajectory in the race and the debates. I'm always open for giving people a chance. That didn't happen. So sadly, we're stuck with Mamdani, and that is a travesty for New York. That really, really is. It's a travesty for New York. Robert, thank you very much, though. And we'll continue after the break, everybody. 1-800-848-9222.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
A message from McAfee. Wondering why the post office is texting you or why you owe thousands of dollars in toll fees? Because someone's trying to scam you. The good news? McAfee can help. With McAfee's award-winning scam detection, it's easy to tell what's real and what's fake over text, in your inbox, and online. If they're
You want a free gift?
Seriously? If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
What's going on? I'm Arch Manning, Viore athlete and college quarterback. Whether I'm running, training, traveling, or just unwinding at home, I love doing it in my core shorts from Viore. With a breathable boxer brief liner, they're quick to dry, super versatile, and stand up to even my most intense training sessions. Plus, they come in 3 inseams and a ton of colors. Ready to try a pair? Go to Viore.com/arch and get 20% off at checkout. I think you're going to love them as much as I do. That's VUORI.com/ARCH and get 20% off your first order. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Have a great day.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
Well, I always love reading your comments on Twitter or X. First off, here's Sal says, Rita, I think it doesn't matter if Trump is innocent concerning Jeffrey Epstein for the TDS crowd, of course, the Trump derangement syndrome crowd. Trump is guilty until proven guilty. And if Trump is definitely innocent for them, Trump is definitely guilty. Boy, oh boy, you are correct, Sal. Trump derangement syndrome really is a medical illness. There is no doubt about it. And Marianne writes something, Rita, you don't think incarceration works? Get out the wax out of your ears, Marianne. I said, I absolutely think incarceration works. And I think good policing works, which is why I'm very concerned that Zohran Mamdani is going to try to put a hamper on both. Let's go to Frank in Staten Island, line 2. Go ahead, Frank.
Hi, Rita, first-time caller.
Oh, awesome. I love that, Frank. Go ahead. Awesome.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to expose Mamdani for the rookie he is. I listened to something earlier where he put Netanyahu and Putin on the same platform.
Yeah.
As far as if any of them step into New York City, he will execute the full extent of the law. And my feeling is before he starts delving into international law, his first application is for New York City law.
Correct.
Which means if he's going to go that hard, every infraction in New York City should be executed to the full extent of the law. Our boys in blue, you spit on them, bump push them, even protesters pushing up against, that's an infraction. So that should be addressed by him. Let's see if he does that.
You know what? That's a great point, Frank, because if he's so strict on the law, he should be following all laws. And like you said, put New York laws first. See, I think, first of all, this law that he's referring to is this International Criminal Court, which a lot of people say is a joke. And first of all, he's not required by any means to abide by some fringe International Criminal Court. And you and I both know that he's just using that as an excuse because he can't stand Netanyahu. So, I mean, to me, it's all smoke and mirrors. But your point's a great one. If he really cares about the laws, well, then maybe he needs to make sure that police can do their job and arrest the bad guys and gals.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at amazon.com/new Alexa.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Every leap in American history has needed breakthrough energy.
Ignition, liftoff.
Now, AI is here, and Chevron is working to power it. We're aiming to develop multi-gigawatt power plants near data centers, designed with future pathways to lower carbon intensity. AI gets the power it needs, communities get the jobs, and the grid stays strong. Powering AI today builds America's next superpower.
Rita Cosby is on.
So it could be a busy week. President Trump saying that Zohran Mamdani is trying to get a White House meeting. Boy, that will be interesting. And we were talking earlier with Bill O'Reilly, and Bill was saying that he believes that Mamdani will have to make some sort of concession to get to the White House to have a meeting because it's a coveted meeting. Maybe so. But what kind of concession do you think he'd have to make? 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Mamdani sure doesn't look like a guy who likes to make concessions. But he also would like the image of walking into the White House, a Democratic Socialist, a self-professed extreme Democratic Socialist, an Islamist walking into the White House. I applaud President Trump for going in and talking to him. On the other hand, I also hope he doesn't give an inch if Mamdani walks in with that big little smile. Trump is smart enough not to be fooled by that silly little smile on Zohran Mamdani's face. He definitely has Zohran Mamdani's number, no doubt. Well, Frank from Staten Island was talking about Zohran Mamdani and his crazy opinion that he would arrest Netanyahu if he came to New York. And he's still saying that. This is what he said again just last week, and I want to play this because it's so incredible to hear it.
You said you would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu based on the 2024 International Court arrest warrant. Next UN General Assembly, as mayor, would you do that?
So I've said time and again that I believe this is a city of international law, and being a city of international law means looking to uphold international law, and that means upholding the warrants from the International Criminal Court, whether they're for Benjamin Netanyahu or Vladimir Putin. I think that that's critically important to showcase our values, and unlike Donald Trump, I'm someone who looks to exist within the confines of the laws that we have. So I will look to exhaust every legal possibility, not to create my own laws to do so.
On the other hand, this is also a world event. Does that not count a little bit?
Well, I think we are a global city, but I also think what New Yorkers are looking for is consistency in the way in which we talk about our values and follow through on them. And that's why I think these warrants from the International Criminal Court, they are worth fully exploring every legal possibility to actually follow through on.
That's like a Kamala Harris word salad extraordinaire. My goodness. Well, it's obvious he has it out for Netanyahu, no matter how crazy that sounds. And here is Mayor Eric Adams. Bravo to him, because at this same time, he's been meeting with Netanyahu in Israel. He was scheduled to have a meeting with him today. And while he was over there, he definitely sounded the alarm how Jewish citizens in New York should be concerned with Mayor Mamdani. Take a listen to what the current mayor, Mayor Eric Adams, said in Israel just a few days ago.
There is a full frontal attack on Jewish people, and hate is alive and is well, and social media is contributing to it, as well as the arrogance, and as well as many people who want to pretend as though it does not exist. It does exist, and I'm not going to be part of those who are going to sugarcoat the hatred that we are seeing. The time is now. We must unite together. There are many conversations that's taking place across the entire globe to reclaim their countries and reclaim their communities and families. And I said this before and I'll say it again. If I was a Jewish New Yorker with children, I would be concerned right now. I would be concerned right now. And that's something we should not normalize, and it should not be accepted. And I'm not willing to accept it. And I'm here today to say to you, as I said then, I'm not just a mayor that's leaving office, I'm your brother. And we will continue to stand side by side with you, because you were there for our community time and time again, and I'm going to be here for your community. And that's why I'm here today to send that message. When I started being mayor, I visited Israel, and as I leave office, I wanted to come back and say thank you for your contribution to our city, to our country, and personally to my political career. I became senator, ball president, and mayor because of the Jewish community. And I thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wow, what a stark contrast from the mayor-elect who's saying he wants to arrest Netanyahu and he'll abide by the DSA policies, which are divest from Israel at every single turn. And here's Mayor Eric Adams also taking Zohran Mamdani to task. Again, he's saying this while in Israel. Bravo to him for going over to Israel. I think that's definitely a message to the incoming mayor, who I believe is very anti-Semitic based on his comments. And here is Mayor Eric Adams with what he had to say about the fact that Zohran Mamdani's been part of these pro-Hamas protests, these pro-Palestinian protests, blocking the streets, all of these things, screaming at Tom Homan. And Mayor Eric Adams, I think, was being way too polite, but he said in a sense that Zohran Mamdani's got to grow up and act like a mayor, not like a protester. Listen to this one.
Symbolism of being a leader is just as important as the substance. And I think he must stand up and show that he could be a leader of the city with all of this diversity. Even if you don't agree or disagree, you must be a leader for everyone in the city, because your words actually can translate into the actions of others. And you may think that you're just saying something, but in fact, in the era when people are using verbal violence to turn into political violence, you can lay the table to some sick mind out there that believe it's okay to be harmful to any particular group. And I think he has to have the level of political maturity to understand that governing is not protesting. He has to move away from that. And all those who are in his midst, like the Democratic Socialists of America, he needs to explain to them he's now the mayor. He's no longer someone that's just protesting in the city of New York. He has to protect the city of New York. And that's a different mindset that he must have, and he must make sure the team around him understands.
That's a really strong message. He has to act more like a protector, not a protester. That's a very nice way to say it. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Liz in Florida, line 5. Go ahead, Liz, your thoughts.
Hi, Rita. Thank you so much for taking my call. When I hear Mamdani speak, I hear blah, blah, blah. Now, Mayor Adams is right on target, saying that Jewish parents should be afraid for their kids. And I say all American parents should be afraid, because I don't know if you remember, I called and I told you that my daughter's friend was taking a course at Queens College called Queer Theory. And I didn't know what it was about. And you said, let me know, call me back when she completed the course. And she completed it. And she has been traumatized ever since.
What was the course? Tell us what, wow.
Oh, yeah. She had to, it was a database of all these articles from this magazine called Queer. I don't curse, Rita, so Queer Effers magazine. And she had to select an item and write a 1-paragraph reflection on it and what she learned from it and why it was of interest and how important it was. And it was basically challenging the traditional ideas about identity, sexuality, and gender. And I saw the material for this class. It's basically shoving this garbage down their throat, and the message is that it's a better life, and doing these lewd acts in public has become acts of normal and no longer should be concealed. And what used to be offensive it's not offensive anymore. And that they're saying that queer theory is the norm today and not heterosexuality. And it's just, I mean, I'll tell you what it was, pornographic. The pictures on all these articles that she had to look through, they were real pornographic pictures. And I'm not going to tell you it's just, I was nauseated by it.
I am in shock. Liz, my jaw is dropping. So now tell me, this class, the class was called Queer Theory. And I guess my question is, what was your daughter's reaction? Right, it was your daughter, and what was her
friend? I would never let her take
it was your daughter's friends. So what were your daughter's friends thinking when this was going on? I mean, did they realize how just ludicrous this was? And did they ever tell their parents too?
So I asked her. She's 21 years old. She needed a course, and that was the only course available for her credit. She's actually leaving for Israel on Wednesday, and she was traumatized. She is a observant Jewish girl, and she showed me the article. She was basically shaking, and this is so unhealthy. You know, Charlie Kirk was right about the college education today. These teachers are all Democrats. Her instructor had piercings and multicolored hair in her 20s. And I read about these professors. Do you know what they have in common, Rita? They were homeless. They were abused as children. What does that tell you?
Wait, the professors you're saying?
Yes, the professors.
This is shocking. Searching. Liz, this is shocking. So I guess let me ask you, first of all, this to me is just obscene what you're telling me that they're teaching them. And the fact that there are people that are actually teaching that in a college, I guess my question is that class still going on, or have there been a lot of protests? And what were the other people doing after the class? I mean, did other parents speak up, that actually had their kids in the class, like your friend's parent, your daughter's friend's parents or others in the class? Because I'm sure other people were as shocked.
I don't even know if they're telling their parents. She didn't, and I said, you should never have taken this course. First of all, it was an online course, but she could see all the, she could see the teacher online and the students online. I'm telling you, Rita, it's disturbing. Somebody has to do something. This is not okay. this is what they're teaching our kids today. And now we know what's going on in colleges.
Yep. By the way, I agree. And that is really, really troubling. Liz, please keep us posted. And I'm so glad that you're sharing this because it's just, it's jaw dropping to think that that is a college class that's being offered through a known college, whether it's online or in person, as you brought up that it's online. Wow, wow, wow. And it makes you wonder how many other classes like that are out there. And how many other kids are taking it, don't want to say anything to their parents or realize there's something wrong, but don't really quite know what, and they don't want to get in trouble at the school. I mean, it makes you wonder so many other things. We learned so many things that our kids were studying during COVID, and we thought we heard some of the worst of it, but this is pretty much in that realm. That's unbelievable that they would have them also look at that magazine that you said with that 4-letter word. Wow. Liz, thank you very much. We got to stay on it because this is just repulsive. I'm with you. Let's go to Joaquin in Pennsylvania, line 3. Wow. Go ahead, Joaquin.
Good evening, Rita. I hope that Donald Trump takes my advice and has Bibi Netanyahu waiting in the Oval Office when Mamdani walks in.
That's great. By the way, that's great.
I would just love to be the fly on the wall then to see the reaction. Because this is ridiculous. International law has nothing to do with this country. And everybody keeps missing the fact that, it's not that he's ineffective. It's not that he's young and inexperienced, because he's laser focused on his agenda. And it is DISA, Democratic Islamic Socialists of America. And so as to Robert, the problem is not that it was Cuomo. The problem was not Curtis. The problem was New Yorkers, because they went with such a high percentage for Mamdani, okay? And when you go online and you see all these young women and even gays converting to Islam, and these young women putting on hijabs and being so proud, there's a problem in New York State.
Well, by the way, there definitely is a problem. On the other hand, I do believe that they should have consolidated against Mamdani. It certainly undoubtedly would have helped and maybe would have beaten him. I think by far there was a better chance. And I also think there should have been more attack ads against him. You look at, and that goes all the way around. I mean, I felt like there were still people who were like, did he really say that, he wanted to defund the police? Yeah, he did. It's in his own words. Did he really say he wanted to open the jails? Yeah. Did he really say anything anti-Semitic? Yeah, about 500 times. I mean, it's in his own writing. So there are a lot of mistakes made. Sadly, we are where we are, Joaquin. And unfortunately, I think New York is going to have a rough ride for the next 4 years. I know you want to talk about Epstein real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. There are some people, some hosts on the station I'm having a problem with, because this whole thing comes down to Epstein's death. He was murdered. It was not a suicide. And, I'm only an amateur, but I went online, and my question when I went online was, the instances of suicide by non-suspension hanging, where the thyroid bone was broken twice and the hyoid bone broken once. You can't find any unless you go to some Asian country where you have some very skinny people, possibly, maybe, okay? So I think that this whole thing, and even as far as Butler goes, I can't help but think that in some ways that perhaps President Trump is compromised, because they showed him that they can take him out anytime. And this whole Epstein thing with the suicide, is just another smack in the face saying that they can do whatever the heck they want and get away with it.
Well, I will tell you, I believe, as you do, that Epstein did not commit suicide. I just think there's too many weird things that happened that night. They moved the guy out of the jail cell. Even the video that they released, remember, doesn't really prove convincingly. And his bone, like you just said, the hyoid bones, and Dr. Michael Baden, who, by the way, I talked to yesterday, Dr. Michael Baden, the noted forensic pathologist, the best, I think, in the world. He's the one who did the autopsy, was part of it for the family, for the Epstein family. He believes that there's a lot more to the story, that it was not a suicide because of the bone breaks in the neck. So even a lot of the experts believe there's a lot more to the story. Joaquin, let's see what we find out. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, we may know soon some of the details that are in there that maybe somebody didn't want out there. Maybe it's even on the Democratic side, guys. 1-800-848-9222. And now to our Support Our Heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from San Mateo County, California, where Navy veteran Michael William O'Brien was honored as the San Mateo 2025 Veteran of the Year. He served on 4 submarines from 1967 to 1980. During his Navy career, he once spent 72 days in a row underwater. He said he loved the mission and the stakes during what was then the height of the Cold War. After retiring, he joined the submarine veterans and he helped restore a long-neglected World War II submarine memorial. He said that they needed help bringing it back, so I volunteered. He said it matters to keep the submariners' history alive. And bravo to him and, of course, all of our great submariners, all of our great veterans out there. We love you and appreciate you here on The Rita Cosby Show. And everybody help America to never, ever forget. Donate just $11 a month to the awesome Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They are the best organization out there, and this is the way you can make a difference, especially as we head into the holiday season. Be sure to check them out. Go to T2T.org, T2T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. New players, new games, new rules. Squid Game, The Challenge returns for a gripping second season. 456 contestants from all walks of life, competing in the ultimate test of strategy, alliances, and endurance. For a life-changing prize of $4.56 million. With stakes this high, why make friends when you can make millions? Catch up on the latest episodes, now playing only on Netflix.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
I turned off news altogether.
I hate to say it, but I don't trust much of anything.
It's the rage bait.
It feels like it's trying to divide people.
If we got clear facts, maybe we could calm down a little.
NBC News brings you clear reporting. Let's meet at the facts. Let's move forward from there. NBC News, reporting for America.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And the number to call is 1-800-848-9222. And you're listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Catherine Trunk saying on X, and you can follow me at Rita Cosby, saying that she thinks if Elise Stefanik is elected New York governor, real Donald Trump could play good cop, bad cop towards Mamdani. That's a good way to look at it. Very smart, Catherine. Always some good points there. Let's go to Judith in Brooklyn, line 2. Go ahead, Judith, your thoughts.
Hi, Rita. I don't understand Robin at all, but I just want to say 2 million people voted now. There are 8 million people here in New York, New York. And I think that 8 million people can come out and basically we can get a Republican governor like Elise Stefanik. I would like a Republican governor. Why? because any Republican governor would then keep a mayor in check and the DA in check, and that's what I want. So, Robert, I don't understand where you're coming from, but we have to push for a Republican governor. It's either Lee Stefanik or Blakeman, which either way, I don't care. I just want a Republican governor.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because they both are really great. I love them both. They're both awesome. And you know, you bring up a good point. It's not just the governor's office, it's the DA's office, because Bragg is still there. Boy, oh boy, you guys, let's see what happens tomorrow. That's going to be a big news day, no doubt.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.